This is a scene that I wrote really late in the game. I wrote it after I hired Robin, and I wanted to really develop her character a little bit, so I wrote this scene with her and her son as they wait in the emergency room for information about whether, David Dunn has lived or has perished. And it's a really kind of a sweet scene. It's the first time I ever wrote a scene where we weren't talking about the plot at all, and they're talking about food, but they're really talking about how sad they feel. And this was a tough cut to make, and but it has great performances in it, and I'm glad you guys get to see it.
All survivors are being brought here from the accident site. We have no names and no numbers to give out. But as soon as we receive information, we will make an announcement.
When can we expect an announcement?
I don't know. There's no announcement yet.
I got the mesquite barbecue chips you like, honey. Look, I bought that soda with all the caffeine your friends drink. You can have it just this once, okay? They didn't have the candy bar you liked, but look, we had others. I had a carrot cake thing, but I didn't think you'd like it. It had raisins in it. You could take out the raisins.
For me, there's always one big scene that you plan on when I'm making the movie and I'm writing it and we're putting it together. Something that's the biggest scene in the movie that requires the most amount of work, the most extras, and the most planning, and it's so much more difficult than every other scene. And this is that scene, and it always comes out of the movie. And it took us, two long, arduous days to shoot, and so many people. It was a period scene, and it's one of the flashbacks of Elijah, and you see him at a fair, and it was one of our, probably the biggest action sequence in the movie. Yeah, this is one of the only scenes where I didn't do it. I didn't plan to do it in one take. It's impossible to do this in one take, and there's probably 10 times as many cuts in this scene as any other scene, and it was kind of out of the character of the rest of the movie. And also, that was one of the reasons why it didn't make it in the film ultimately. It felt like the movie stopped, and I did this whole scene, and then we went back to the language of the movie. And I don't know, you never know when you make this mistake in the conception of it, but that's what happened. And it's still a very exciting and visceral scene to watch. It just doesn't feel a part of Unbreakable. And so we took the scene out, and this was a really hard cut. And also, there's a little boy who played Elijah at 7 years old, and he just did an amazing job, and he actually had to keep coming back to do this scene and reshoot it, and you get to see him here.
Elijah! Elijah!
Sit back, let's get ready. Remember, hands and feet must remain down inside those cars.
I won't get hurt, Mama. I'm safe.
This scene involves David Dunn and a priest. It comes during the church sequence, which is cut down a lot in the movie, but it actually was the first scene that I got right when I was writing. When I wrote it, I just looked at the page and I said, yeah, that's it. I finally got the tone of the movie. I finally understood David Dunn's character, and then I started to write the rest of the movie. And so, in a weird way, this was like the beginning of Unbreakable. This scene. And it's not in the movie because of a lot of factors. We shot this scene twice, actually, in two different locations. And the first time we had camera problems, and the second time I just felt like, you know, it was a lot of internal things going on with the character, but I needed to get back to the plot of, you know, why did I survive? That was why he's there with the priest, but why did I survive? Boom, he gets this note on the car, and we're off to the races, and we get to see Sam Jackson, and here we go. And so I'm always fighting this kind of battle between developing characters and developing the plot. And this time, plot won out, and we cut the scene.
I used to play football in college. I was a quarterback. One time we went on this winning streak. Just went on and on. I couldn't lose. When something like that happens, you get superstitious. Do silly things. You wear the same socks. You listen to the same B.B. King song before every game. I wouldn't even untie the shoelaces of my cleats. Just slip them off and on so nothing would change. It made things important that weren't important. This is different. I was the only person to survive that train wreck. Feels like this is important.
Are you a religious man, David?
No, sir.
Good. Because I'm going to talk to you as a man, not as a man of the cloth.
okay?
It was luck.
What do you mean?
Luck. Random. Without meaning. About 3 years ago, my cousin died in a plane that crashed on takeoff at Philadelphia International Airport. Do you remember that crash?
Yes.
I prayed and prayed until finally I found some meaning in the event. It gave me peace. And then, not quite a year later, an entire family from my parish burned to death in a hotel fire downtown. Again, I prayed. Again, I found meaning. Just 2 days ago, my nephew rode with you on that train back from New York. He was traveling alone for the first time. I'm sorry if I can't react to your survival with the appropriate. It was the hand of God. It was a miracle kind of answer. I'm fresh out of those right now.
The metal on my watch was crushed like someone hit it with a sledgehammer.
My 12-year-old nephew's neck was broken in 4 places. What's your point, David? You were chosen